Patel's case was one of Queensland's longest-running Supreme Court trials. His employment at Bundaberg 7 years ago devastated so many lives and changed the local community forever. Victims say it's also brought improvements to the health system. But bringing the doctor to justice has been a difficult and time-consuming task.
It's been more than 7 years of heartache for former patients and their families.
This was a tragedy that happened. A lot of things allowed it to happen. Well, I've had a lot of downs.
American-trained Dr Jayant Patel began working at Bundaberg on April Fool's Day in 2003. Almost immediately, concerns were raised.
We'd taken to hiding patients.
Patel resigned in April 2005, flying home business class to Portland, Oregon, courtesy of Queensland Health. Investigations revealed Patel had previously been banned from performing some operations in the US because of negligence.
It was a series of things that happened. It was the recruitment, it was the medical board.
As opposition pressure on the government mounted, an inquiry headed by Tony Morris QC was set up. But the Supreme Court ruled Mr Morris showed bias in his questioning and he was stood down in favour of a new commissioner. Evidence linked Dr Patel to more than a dozen deaths.
Speaker, the report recommends that Jayant Patel should be referred to the Police Commissioner for prosecution for a number of offences, including manslaughter.
A year later, a warrant was issued for Patel's arrest.
We'll do everything we can within the law to bring Patel to justice.
Extradition proceedings followed, but there were serious delays. Patel was finally arrested in March 2008, arriving back in Australia 4 months later.
After boarding a flight in Los Angeles yesterday, the former Bundaberg surgeon touched down in Brisbane early this morning.
Obviously there's been a lot of hiccups along the way, a lot of setbacks, and we just keep moving. We always held the faith that this day would come.
He was granted bail before his trial in March.
A former Oregon doctor dubbed Dr. Death has pleaded not guilty in the deaths of 3 people in Australia.
With the trial now over, Beryl Crosby says the health system still has a lot to learn.
We've got legislation with mandatory reporting, and which I fought very hard for because it was important that doctors be able to speak out when other doctors are harming patients. I think this was a one-off, and I hope that it will never ever happen again.
Now, David, this isn't the end of it, of course. There are sentencing submissions, and Jayant Patel faces life in prison for these charges. Of course, no matter what the verdicts, this case was always headed for the Court of Appeal. It's an unprecedented case because of the point of law that Patel was tried on. Patel's lawyer, Michael Byrne QC, did apply for bail for Patel until sentencing. Justice John Byrne did deny that, and there'll be sentencing submissions at 10 o'clock on Thursday.